Welcome to Tiny Marketing. This is episode 140, where I am sharing my live training on 4 funnels to book more one-to-one clients. Enjoy. We have about a third of the people who are signed up now. Hey, Christy. Hey, Matt. Ben. You've been to my events before. How are you? All right, I'm gonna get started. We have a good chunk of people who are now here. Sharon, hi. All right, I am gonna share my screen. Here it is. And we're gonna get started on the hi Ben. On the 4 funnels to book out your one-to-one offers. This is gonna be juicy. Now, hey Peter. If you saw my post today on LinkedIn, then you got a little taste of what I'll be talking about today. And let's get into it since we only have 30 minutes. The quick and dirty, tiny masterclass. All right, who am I? I have added millions to my clients' revenue with content funnels. So I'm Sarah Noel Block. I am the host of Tiny Marketing and of the Tiny Marketing Club. And I help my clients build organic funnels that bring in clients on repeat. That is what I'm about. I don't spend any money on ads and I don't rely on referrals. I think all of that sucks because you don't have control over it. Ads are expensive, referrals are awesome, but you don't have control over it. I'm a big no thank you on that. I want organic, I want repeatable systems. So here's the story of how I kind of uncovered these funnels. So one year I had a freaking amazing year. Well, I had an amazing Q1 and Q2, but then Q3 hit and I had absolute crickets. So I had to do something. I created an experiment. I wanted to recreate what those one-to-many brands do. You know, those funnels that they create, and you're like, why is it so easy for them? And it's not when you do one-to-one services. It's different because you need to build relationships. So I had to rethink what funnels could really look like. How could I make funnels that work for one-to-one clients and make it easy and repeatable? So I started experimenting and playing with what was working for them to make it work for one-to-one. And I grew my pipeline by multi-figures, multi-six figures. I had a wait list and I remained booked out until I wasn't I wasn't anymore. Let me explain. I stopped doing these funnels. I thought that I had natural momentum. I was like, oh, I'm living on easy street. Everything's going to be easy because money was just rolling in for 7 months. I barely had to try. What I didn't realize is that I didn't just have natural momentum. What I had was a system that was working. And when I turned it off, it stopped working. I stopped making money. So I re-implemented my funnels. And within 10 days, I added an additional 170,000 to my sales pipeline. And I learned a lesson too. I learned that these systems can be turned on and turned off, but you're not going to just naturally make money unless you're like a Jenna Kutcher. It's not going to happen. And I also learned that what you do now or don't do now will affect you 90 days from now. So I have been running this thing for about 5 years now, Tiny Marketing, as a solo person. I was freelancing, like I built Tiny Marketing 10 years ago, but solo for 5. And I have realized that the habits that I created, they kick into gear 90 days from now. So the things that you're doing will affect you then. And when I stopped working on my funnels, 90 days later, I had no more funnel. I had no more pipeline left. And when I did do it, it took 1 quarter and I was filled out for 7 months. These habits, they're repeatable, but they also build on each other. So when you stop doing them, you will slowly feel the pain and then it'll hit you all at once when you're at nothing. What if you had a simple roadmap to keep your client roster full year round? And it's a habit that you can just turn on and it's easy and it's possible because I have done it and I have not done it and I felt the consequences of it. Now, what you're going to learn today is the 4 funnels that work for one-to-one offers. A bonus companion funnel, which is called the gateway funnel, and it moves prospects from slight interest, I'm, willing to test you out, to a high ticket client. And then how to nurture leads that don't convert right away. Because think about it. Some of you on this call right now are the type of people who will say, yes, I want to purchase. I want to buy right away. But some of you on here will want to do your research and you'll get to know the person that you're buying from before you say yes. I'm that second person. I have sometimes had to be nurtured on lists for years before I purchased from someone, and that's okay. That's just how consumers work. Some people are fast to take action and some people need nurturing. So we're going to talk about that too. So let's get into the first one. Now, we know this is quick and dirty. So if you have questions, you can put them in the chat now, and I will get to them at the end. Cynthia, hi. But let's get into the funnels as we're doing this. So funnel number 1 is the one I talked about today on LinkedIn, the end of year bids dev blitz. So what is it? It is a Q4 push to maximize connection calls to secure business before the end of the year. Here's how it works. You identify ideal fit clients from your network and social media platforms. So let me talk you through how I do it. One thing I do is I'll go on LinkedIn and I'll check out who has viewed my profile recently, because they are likely interested in working with me, and that's the reason they were looking. Um, if I don't have any ideal fit people, it's just people wanting to sell me who looked at my profile, I'll go to people who share the same audience as me. They also sell to the same people as me. And I will click on everybody who engaged with their most recent post, and I'll find ones that are ideal fits for me, and I'll start conversations with them. Another thing I'll do is I'll go into my Slack communities that are very niche. They have all of the people that I sell to, and I'll start answering questions there and connecting with people and scheduling connection calls. So those are some easy ways to find good fit people. I mean, the absolute easiest one is find people who are doing better, like getting higher engagement than you on LinkedIn, and just seeing who's engaging with them. And then look through that list. Are there any good fit people? You just say, hey, I connected through X, and start a conversation that way. Next, craft personalized outreach messages that schedule casual connection calls. So I rarely have actual true sales calls with people. Most of the time, I'm just having a casual connection call or a networking call, whatever you want to call it, and having a conversation with someone where we're just talking about our business. And then if something resonates with them, they'll want to pursue a sales conversation. But they almost always start with a casual connection call. Now, a good way to craft a personalized outreach message is, if you guys have listened to my podcast before, it's a Tiny Marketing Show. I have an episode, it's episode 100 with Molly Godfrey, and she taught this DM strategy that works so well. And it basically is, when you send that connection request, send a little note with it that says why you connected, like, what community you found them on, or who you found them through, but then put in a one-liner that describes who you are, what you do, and who you do it for, and then send that connection request. Will as many people accept your connection request? No. A lot of them will be like, no thanks. I think that they're going to sell to me. But everybody who does accept them has given you a little hand raise because they are interested. So anytime I am connecting with someone who I think would be an ideal fit client, I send that type of connection request DM, and they have been converting like fire. So thank you, Molly. And if you haven't listened to that episode, it's episode 100. And then next, when you're on those connection calls, be naturally curious and have conversations with them. Ask them what's going on with their business, who they want to connect with, who their ideal client is. If it makes sense, provide a solution. And that solution might not be you. So I have tons of connection calls every week. And sometimes the solution that they need is a connection with someone else, someone I know. Sometimes the connection they need is a free masterclass like this. And sometimes it's my service. But I am going to give them the most valuable solution for them, even if it's not me. But that honesty is what drives more sales. And, referrals still work. So they will also be more likely to send you referrals. I actually got a client yesterday from someone who did not upsell to my services, but they loved like the honesty and the value that I provide them so much. They were like, go talk to Sarah. I think that she might be a good fit for you. So it works on a lot of levels to just, be real. And why it works. It leverages the natural year-end urgency for planning. That's a huge thing. So at the end of a year for companies, they need to do their planning and budgeting for the next year. This usually happens somewhere in Q4. They also need to spend whatever is left over in their budget or they will lose it for the following year. So they need to spend money. So now is a great time to do your biz dev blitz because they might have urgent projects or they might prepay you in order to use up that budget for next year's projects. It positions you as a partner to achieve next year's goals because they're thinking about this now. They have to plan their budget at this time of year. So they are thinking about what projects they're going to do in 2025. So now is the time to have the conversations with them. And last, the connection calls allow you to build a relationship that leads to trust and sales. Because you're doing it really organically and honestly, it's going to lead to a less power dynamic relationship when you go from connection call to that sales conversation because you're just curious. It's like Ted Lasso, just be curious. And for you guys who don't have a great one-liner, there is a one-liner workshop that's available in the Tiny Marketing Club. So you can, if you're part of that, you can grab that. It was a workshop that I did earlier this year, but it will, by the end of it, you'll have multiple one-liners that you can use depending on the person that you're sending it to. Funnel number 2 is mic to money. So, thank you. Carol, I see your question and I will get to it at the end. Thanks for putting that in. So mic to money. One, what is it? It's a content series that creates trust and guides your audience into an active lead generator. So for anybody that's in the Chicago area who's here today, I am teaching this exact strategy at Creative Con in February in Chicago, if you want to join. So how it works. I'm going to speak of this in terms of how I do it. So my content series is a podcast. Record episodes addressing tiny teaching moments you will dive into within the active lead generator. So, an active lead generator, for anybody who's not familiar with my vocabulary, is a time sensitive lead magnet. So, it could be this, like, it's only available with bonuses right now. You can only get it now. It's something that is time sensitive. So it could be something that's pre-recorded but only available for a week. It could be something live, but the intention is that there's scarcity to it. They can only get it for a short period of time. So record episodes addressing tiny teaching moments that you will teach at length within the active lead generator. And then end each episode with a call to action to join that time sensitive resource. And then follow up for all of those people who have subscribed and are joining the active lead generator. Follow up with an email sequence that invites them to the bigger offer. Why it works. It builds authority and establishes you as an expert in your niche through a series. It's through a period of time. So you're slowly getting people excited about this offer, about this active lead generator. It creates a sense of familiarity and trust and excitement because you're getting repeated exposure to little micro pieces of this active lead generator. And last, it's time sensitive. So it encourages action immediately and it funnels people who were just passive listeners towards a sales conversion. A lot of times I'm having conversations with people and they are like, I want a podcast, but will it actually sell? And the answer is yes, when you have the right funnel in place. Because a lot of times people are listening to your podcast passively and they don't get on your email list or they don't join your events. But this is a way to get them to do that. There's an intimacy when it comes to podcasting. Now, with that said, you can do this with a YouTube show too. You can do this with a newsletter series. You can do this with blogs. Whatever your content series is, it will still work as long as you are leading people to that active lead generator. Now, there's also a whole masterclass on this strategy alone inside the Tiny Marketing Club. So you could get it there, or you could watch me do this live at Creative Con. Oh, for anybody who does not have an active lead generator, there's early bird pricing on this workshop that's taking place on January 14th. So you can grab that. That's in Meetup. So everybody who signed up for this, you're also in Meetup. So you can see that there. We're going to help you identify and launch your active lead generator in January. Okay. Funnel number 3 is LinkedIn Magic. What it is, it leverages LinkedIn's data to book connection calls. So, how it works: engage with your ideal clients through comments and profile visits. So, you want to choose people that are somewhat familiar with you. So, this is how I do it: people who have commented on my posts or the posts of people who have the same audience as me. I'll connect with them. I'll send that magic DM that I talked about that Molly taught in episode 100. And then I will transition that conversation into a connection call so we can focus on their challenges, what's going on with them. So, easy, low hanging fruit ways to find the warmer people in LinkedIn. And this is all inside of my LinkedIn playbook too, that lives inside the Tiny Marketing Club. Um, One, the profile views. So if you have the premium version of LinkedIn, you get like a year of data seeing who viewed your profile. So that's one way because they're interested in you. Another one are the people who have engaged on your posts, the people who have engaged on competitors' posts, or posts with people who share the similar audience as you. And you can also go to impressions and see if you can discover who has viewed your posts but hasn't commented on it. Because a lot of times the money is in the lurkers and they may not have commented, but they are intrigued because they're watching. So impression data is helpful too within LinkedIn. Why it works It capitalizes on LinkedIn's algorithm. So the more often that you are having one-to-one conversations with people on LinkedIn, the more likely LinkedIn will show your content to those people later too. So it kind of creates a bubble effect of your content around that person because they're going to see your posts more and you're DMing them. Um, Personalized DMs break through the noise and they feel genuine. So a lot of times we like, how are you? The DM that people will get. And that's not really helpful, is it? No, it's not. But if you can connect it to the thing that they engaged with, that's a whole other story. And conversations establish trust and open the doors to a deeper collaboration. So the DMs, like I'm sure you have heard of social selling. Social selling is basically selling within the DMs. And it's getting easier and easier to do that when you're trying not to sell. Does that make sense? When you are just having a genuine conversation, it usually will convert to a sale. While if you're pitching, it will not. So just be genuine. I see a couple of people who had questions about the free LinkedIn. Free LinkedIn, you still have the option to see like who is engaging with other people's posts, your competitors' posts, and you can do it that way. You'll still see a limited amount of the people who viewed your profile. And impressions, I don't think you'll have as much data, but you can still use the other two strategies. Okay. Niche networker is number 4. So this is my favorite. If anybody who has was part of the Everyday Profit Habits Masterclass, this is one of the strategies I taught. So what is it? It's a daily habit of consistent engagement and lead generation using niche communities. So how it works. Spend 15 minutes every day in your niche communities, whether that is social media groups, forums. I'm in a lot of Slack communities. You want to make sure that they're very niche for your specific client that you want to attract. Those are the best ones. So go in them, just spend 15 minutes. Comment thoughtfully. So I set up keyword alerts in those Slack communities. So I only get notifications when there's certain keywords that are being said in them. So I can answer questions quickly, and that is more likely to convert into a sale. You can also set up keywords alert where people are asking for help on a certain thing. And then you can be the first person who can raise your hand and say, I can help with that. So what I do is I spend 15 minutes going through those very specific keyword alerts and answer any questions, DM any potential clients that would be a good fit, and just build rapport, answer questions, be valuable, and aim to book connection calls with them. So as you will see for all of these funnels, my goal is to get on a one-to-one call, is to pull away from the pool that I have found my niche community in and have a one-to-one conversation with them. So why it works. Regular engagement keeps you top of mind in your audience. So the more often that people are seeing you comment on those posts, the more likely that they are going to think of you when something comes up or when someone asks a question, they'll tag you on it. And conversations create an opportunity for organic connections and sales. 40% of my connection calls convert into a sale using these 4 methods. So I have lots of connection calls, but when I use these 4 methods, that is when they have that 40% conversion rate. Okay, now let's get into our companion gateway funnel. So that what I mean by companion is the gateway funnel should work with all of these. Always have your clients go through this gateway funnel. I'll explain. What is it? It's a low barrier offer. It's an entry point offer that smoothly transitions clients to your signature service. So an example of that could be in a $500 audit leading to a high ticket done for you package. Maybe you're going through someone's website, you provide an audit on that, on what changes they need to make in order to have higher conversions. And then you can sell them on the upsell for like the copywriting project as an example. So how it works is you create an easy to say yes offer that solves a small, urgent problem. So the best gateway offers that I see, they solve the problem one milestone before they're ready to work with you. That it allows you to do the discovery work, the onboarding work, the strategy work before you have committed to the main offer with them. Because who knows? Maybe you aren't the right fit for them or they aren't the right fit for you. So this gives you a low risk offer to work with. And it's easy to sell. And that I think is the reason that my connection calls convert so easily, is because it's easy to say yes to that. And once you've had a taste of working with me or you, it's a lot easier to also say, okay, I do want to work with you on a bigger project. So to do this, use the connection call to private invite funnel. So when you're getting on those connection calls for all of these one-to-one funnels, my connection calls are 15 minutes. I just saw your thing. Follow that up by one, answering any questions that they may have had on that call, or maybe you had offered to provide an introduction to someone or a resource. So send a follow-up email with that information and then offer a private invite. And I love using a Google Doc for this because it feels really intimate, casual, but I'll send a private invite like, hey, here's a behind the scenes offer I'm doing. I think this is a really great fit just based off of the conversation we had. It's up to you, but just let me know if you're interested in it. So connection call plus private invite. And then on the gateway offer, you want to over deliver and naturally upsell to your signature service during that delivery. So a typical gateway offer, and for everybody who has gone through the Flowdesk checkout to get to this, you saw that there was a gateway offer challenge. So you can learn a lot about that there. And the masterclass was a free bonus for everyone who attended live. So when you're doing a gateway offer, I will just do a quick and dirty gateway funnel structure. You want to do an interview first, a documented strategy second, and then third, a quick review session where you can answer any objections and you can tell them about the upsell opportunity. So why it works: it removes the risk for the client by offering a low commitment entry point. It's a lot easier to say yes to $1,000 or $500 than it is to a $50,000 project. It builds trust through immediate value. They are getting true value from that offer that you're giving them. And it creates a natural bridge to your higher ticket offer by demonstrating the ROI early. You have all the information you need to prescribe the right offer for them. So pair the gateway funnel with these other one-to-one funnels, and it works beautifully. Okay. What do you do with non-converters? I realize we're a little over because I had to wait a few minutes to get started because we had some latecomers. So what do you do with non-converters? Because as we said at the beginning, not everyone is going to convert immediately. Some people take some time. Some people need that nurturing. You need to nurture the leads. So you want value-packed email sequence that leads to the offer. So I like to do an 80-20 with this. So every email I send is 80% educational. It's adding value for you. And it's 20% selling. So I might add a super signature or a PS line on those emails that leads to the offer, but I'm educating mainly. That's my priority. Private invitations to offers, workshops, and events are really great for nurturing leads. Social selling. Anybody who attends your active lead generators, continue that conversation in the DMs. Don't let them forget about you. Continue the conversation. You can invite them to a micro offer. So a micro offer, for anyone who doesn't know, is less than $100, or to an upgrade. So, like anybody who attends a masterclass has an opportunity to upgrade into a week of Voxer coaching, as an example. And then treat them like a VIP. Give them special access. Give them, shoot them a direct email, just you to that person, and invite them to something special. So, why it works, most buyers don't convert immediately. It's not, you know, ongoing nurturing builds trust over time, but it always works. I have clients who have said, no, not right now, a year ago, but because I continued that relationship, they did eventually, they were ready to work with me. And personalized follow ups with non converters feel valuable, and it encourages that future sale. It makes them feel seen, like they're not just a number, and they're not, they're humans. We are all running one-to-one businesses where we're having real relationships with these people. You do want to build that relationship and their rapport with them. You want to get to know them. Um, okay. There's so much more that we can do with nurturing. So here are a couple things. We have payday emails that are designed to bring in revenue. We have some subtle hand raises. So a strategy for building an offer interest list based on the actions that they take. I've touched on this a little on LinkedIn. We have pop-up offers, and these are cash injection campaigns that bring in fast revenue. And all of these work with one-to-one services. I use all of these with my one-to-one services. And if you don't know that much about the Tiny Marketing Club, it is one-to-one. You are working directly with me. Lee, who's on this call right now, we just had a strategy call. Um, all of these you can find inside of the Tiny Marketing Club, and they're all really great ways of nurturing relationships with all of these people who have gone through your funnel, because a lot of funnels are built for immediate results, and that's not what works for one-to-one. You're not always going to convert immediately. You need to have that nurture part of that relationship. So what we've gone over today, um, Melissa, you are your business is not designed for individuals, but businesses. Same. I work with B2Bs. So same. This works for that. Because essentially we're selling to people within that business. So I have only worked as a B2B, and I have only worked with companies that are B2B. So this works for that. So funnel one is an end of year biz dev blitz. It works so well. Funnel two is Mic to Money. I run these about once a quarter to give you an idea of my cadence for these funnels. Funnel three is LinkedIn Magic. I do this about once a week. Funnel four, Niche Networker. I do that 15 minutes every day. The companion funnel, gateway funnels, every single client I work with goes through the gateway funnel because it also ensures that my project work runs seamlessly. They always run beautifully. And then last, nurture. You need to continue these relationships because one-to-one clients aren't going to convert like someone who is purchasing a $17 product will. You need to nurture those relationships. Some people will come in and they come in pre-nurtured because you have that signature series. You have a podcast, you have a YouTube show. So it's easy to say yes because they already know you through that content. But for those of you who don't, or maybe people who haven't already consumed your content, you need to continue those relationships through nurturing. But they will eventually convert, I assure you. This works because these funnels are repeatable and focus on building relationships at scale. One-to-one services are all about relationships, but we can do it at scale. And funnels don't have to be complicated. With the right systems, you can attract, nurture, and convert your ideal clients. It's easy to do. I am not lying that right before Thanksgiving, I ran one of these funnels and I did put together a sales pipeline of 170,000 in 10 days. That was it. That's how well these work. And it's not like I am famous. I am just really good at habits and building habits and maintaining them. Thank you so much for joining me today. Um, this is my info. You can join Tiny Marketing Club by going to sarahnoahblock.com/club. That's my email. It goes directly to me. I'm going to answer all of your questions that I see coming in right now. The podcast is Tiny Marketing. YouTube is at Sarah Noah Block, and LinkedIn is /Sarah Noah Block. So if you didn't put a question in the comments, you can bounce. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys are awesome. Okay. So I don't do offers. I don't teach. I'm on free LinkedIn. Ben, can you tell me what your offers are? That will help guide me in which direction to go with it. Um, how long is my connection call? My connection calls are 15 minutes because I'm booking a lot of them. I can't go more than 15 minutes. Um, and honestly, it works. They tell you about their business, you tell them about your business, you have a conversation. And if you want to continue that conversation, you can book another call later. And also having a signature series really helps a lot with this too, because if you had a great conversation with someone and you want to keep that conversation going, but it wouldn't really be a sale, it would be more of a good referral partner. They are a person that you would want to invite to your show. Let's see. How do you see who's part of your impressions? So on each one of your posts, there should be a little link with the number of impressions that only you can see. If you click on that, it will show you the industries, the people, the roles of the people who have viewed your post without commenting. Thanks, Leah. Okay, Ben. If you don't have any offers and maybe you're thinking about starting a business and coming up with an offer, then I would start with a gateway offer because those are great at testing out ideas. So it would be like whatever your expertise is, do a 60 to 90-minute interview with someone, put together the strategy, the audit, whatever you choose for your gateway offer, and then have that review session with them. Sell as many of those as possible. And that will give you a good idea of what kind of offers your audience would be interested in. What verbiage do you use to ask for someone to get on a connection call? Something like, hey, do you want to get on a call and see how we can help each other out? Something along those lines. It's really casual, and I'm just looking when I'm trying to enter into a connection call conversation, I am genuinely just trying to, see who they are, see if I have any resources that can help them. Maybe I'm interested in a community that they're part of and I want to learn a little bit more about it, something like that. But that's the verbiage I usually use is, hey, I saw you're part of X, whatever community we met on. And I'm really interested in learning more about what you do. And let's see if we can help each other out. All right, I'm going to scroll through these and see if I missed any of your questions. And of course, if I missed any of them, feel free to DM me on LinkedIn. I practically live there. All right, awesome. It looks like I answered all of your questions. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. You're freaking awesome. And stay connected. I will shoot you guys an email and I want to shoot you guys an email with the bonuses. Thanks for coming live and the replay and info about the Tiny Marketing Club. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, please share with a friend, like, and subscribe. See you next time.